This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Premier Will Hodgman has questioned the integrity of the state's Public Accounts Committee, saying leaked information proves it's tainted. The powerful board has summoned Treasurer Peter Gutwein to front the committee next week, but it's been revealed journalists knew about the summons before the Treasurer did.
This time last year, Tasmania was in the midst of a major energy crisis. A year on, and Treasurer Peter Gutwein is again being told to provide answers. Last night, he received a summons ordering him to appear before the Public Accounts Committee next Friday and provide a heavily debated document.
It is a very, very serious and deeply embarrassing situation for the government.
The document of interest is the Treasury advice on the sale of the Tamar Valley Power Station. The site's main gas turbine was put on the market in 2015, but the sale was revoked when the station was needed during the energy crisis.
I think the most concerning thing about all this is that this is the third time that information from what is a very highly regarded and important committee has leaked. It certainly suggests to me that this process is tainted.
The Premier says his government is quite content to provide information that doesn't compromise public or commercial interest, but he's stopped short of saying the whole Treasury advice document will be released.
As I say, taking advice as to that, and we'll have more to say about it in due course.
Labor says the only conclusion it can make if the full document isn't released is the sale was advised against.
Sadly, in the absence of any other information, that's the only inference we can draw.
The summons request overshadowed today's government visit to an oyster farm, the trip another chance for the Liberals to promote their Taswater takeover plan.
If anyone seriously thinks that another decade or even a couple of years is satisfactory for us to be damaging our environment, damaging our brand, damaging their industries, then I think they're on another planet.
Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
It's been a tumultuous first week for the state's new opposition leader, with rumours of party disunity and the government's proposed takeover of Taswater. Joining us in the studio tonight is Rebecca White. Good evening, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us. Taswater has dominated state politics for some weeks now. As the new opposition leader, are you any more convinced of the government's plan to take over our peak water body?
No, we're not more convinced. We haven't seen any details from the government about exactly how they're going to fund this particular plan they've got, or indeed any details about the timeframes that they're talking of. We know that Taswater have told us from the modelling they've done that it could cost as much as $50 million extra every year for the government to condense the timeframes to what they're telling Tasmanians. And where's that money going to come from, Joe? What hospital services are going to be cut and what school services are going to be cut? It's simply not clear yet how the government intends to do what they're saying.
Do you think that information will be forthcoming?
Our expectation is that when the government provided a ministerial statement to the Parliament, they should have detailed that at that time. It's very strange to me that the government's intending to take over Taswater and make it a GBE without clearly articulating exactly how they're going to do that and indeed how they're going to pay for that. You would think they'd have that sort of information available for people to look at now, because they're talking about it being a done deal, and yet we haven't got that information, so it does raise questions about how serious they really are.
I wanted to ask you about this party you've inherited. It's rumoured to be drowning in disunity. Are you able to confirm tonight if Lara Giddings is indeed intending to run at the next state election? And also, what do you see as the future for David O'Byrne?
I really reject any claims that the party is drowning in disunity. We've got a really fantastic Labor team. We are united and we really are taking it up to the government. I'm very confident we will win seats at the next election and that Labor can win government. As for the members of our team, of course, there are obviously people asking questions about that. My expectation is that every single person in my team is there because they intend to do the best thing for their community, and that they will make their decisions about that when pre-selections are called for at that time. And I think it's really important that people understand Labor has a united team. We've got a team that's focused on delivering the best outcomes for Tasmania, and that's certainly my goal.
What about David O'Byrne? He was certainly touted as a potential leader in the past. How's that going to impact the party room and indeed impact you if he comes back?
Well, I'd welcome David O'Byrne returning to the Parliamentary Labor Party. He's a fantastic communicator, he is a very intelligent person, and I'm sure he'll make an enormous contribution to the Parliament if he decides to run for the Labor Party again. I certainly don't feel that there's any need to feel worried about having smart people around me. I welcome that. I think that means that Labor has a really strong team, and I think the best team that we can put forward is one that's full of people who come from a diverse range of backgrounds that can really present to the Tasmanian people we're serious about taking government here in this state.
Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us in the
My
studio
pleasure.
Tonight. Rebecca White, the opposition leader, joining us there. Grange Resources has paid tribute to one of its workers who died at the Savage River mine on Friday. 32-year-old Nathan Beasley only worked at the site for a short time, but he's been described as one of the family. His body has been recovered. The company expects operations to resume as normal on Friday. A 74-year-old man found guilty of murdering his estranged wife has appeared in the Hobart Supreme Court. Klaus Dieter Newbert is awaiting sentencing for the shooting murder of wife Olga and the grievous bodily harm of Josephine Ramos Cooper in Newtown in May 2015. The matter has been adjourned for another 2 months while a forensic mental health report on Mr Newbert is finalised. He will remain behind bars until his next appearance. The Treasurer has told an inquiry into the state's gaming industry he isn't surprised by the significant number of submissions put forward by the public. The inquiry is considering community attitudes towards the industry and the possibility of ending Federal Group's monopoly over poker machines.
The gaming industry in Tasmania has always been one that's been at flashpoint, if you like, if I can call it that. There are polarising views in the community.
The government says it does not want to see gaming shut down in Tasmania. The inquiry is also considering further testing when new machines are introduced. Paramedics and firefighters have put their skills to the test, freeing and resuscitating passengers in a mock bus crash. The training exercise was 2 years in the making and highlighted the need for one of our state's main hospitals to improve its communication system.
Paramedics rushing to get crash victims to safety. While their injuries may look real, luckily this is just a setup. The mock disaster helps Tasmanian emergency service workers prepare for mass casualties and test the Launceston General Hospital's capacity to deal with similar situations.
We here in Launceston have been fortunate. We don't have a lot of these events, but it is very important. If we don't test our systems, we don't know that they work.
Fitting breathing masks and practising how to take blood pressure, part of the drill. The TFS on hand ensuring the scene is safe.
It's really important for training purposes, and if we can create a training opportunity that's as close as possible to real life or high fidelity, that's fantastic.
The exercise also a chance for emergency service agencies to work together.
We've been using some new technology which has worked very well. That's encouraging. There are some aspects of communication within the hospital that need to be improved, but overall the hospital would have been able to cope with this particular emergency should it have happened in reality.
The training did not disrupt hospital services. Exercises are conducted every 2 years, ensuring everyone gets the care they need. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Drivers don't need to be concerned about a bloke running on the state's main highways in just his undies. Bernie's Braden Hayes today beginning the Hobart to hometown journey to honour a bet made on social media during a big bash match.
The day has finally arrived for Braden Hayes, taking off from Blunston Arena this morning in just his underwear.
Yeah, I reckon I'll be getting a few beeps. I hope there's not too many school kids leaving school getting a bit of a scare.
Hayes took to social media, declaring the Hobart Hurricanes wouldn't chase down the 222 run target set by the Melbourne Renegades. And if they did, he'd run from Hobart to Burnie in his undies for charity. A historic Ben McDermott century made that a reality, but he's not taking full responsibility.
Well, a little bit, but yeah, it was an amazing run chase, and it was just great to be a part of. Braden's doing it for a great cause.
Hayes says he should manage 30 kilometres a day, meaning the journey will take 11 days to complete. setting a fundraising target of $20,000, which will be split between Diddy's Day Out and M&D Tasmania.
It's quite heartwarming. We're so grateful. Just going through this whole journey has been so overwhelming, but then to see the support from the community and all our friends and everybody jump on board, it's been really special.
The first couple of days should be okay. I'm more worried about probably day 9 and 10 going up through the Midlands, but yeah, it is what it is, and I should be fine, hopefully.
If all goes to plan, Braden will arrive in Burnie on April 1. Talia Higgins, Southern Cross News.
A long way from the hustle and bustle of China's major cities, one of their country's most prestigious orchestras has taken time out at the Cataract Gorge. In the state for 10 days on the island, the group swapped instruments for sightseeing, although they left little room to move on the famous suspension bridge.
Oh, it's wonderful, it's amazing. We're very relaxed.
The group will perform with the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra in Launceston and Hobart during the festival. Nitro circus performers might be more accustomed to performing tricks on dirt bikes, but today the stars of this weekend's daring display took on a very different training regime. And the jury's out on whether it's a step up from their usual death-defying style.
A crash course in penny farthing.
And give it a really good kick along.
Sent this daredevil duo on a crash course of their own. Evandale's X Games are a little less extreme than this Saturday's Nitro Circus in Launceston, but even stuntmen admit to being scared.
Yeah, I'm afraid of heights, so that was a little bit higher off the ground than I like being.
The great irony is Chris Hathey rides rollerblades sky high for a living.
Oh my goodness.
The difference is, this isn't second nature.
My legs are so short that the wheels started hitting the inside when I turned. I thought I was going down every time I took a turn.
His counterpart flips and whips on the bike, smiling in the face of danger. So what goes on in the mind of a motocross madman? It's not fear, it's the fans.
It's not as much of like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of this trick. It's like, I want these people to leave and feel like they've got their money's worth.
A bit more composed than your average punter would be anyway. The pair will perform alongside dozens of reckless riders at the one-show-only event, although don't expect to see these bikes doing the backflips.
I've retired from penny farthies.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Students from 7 schools have spent the day together to recognise Catholic education. 3,000 students attending Mass and an awards ceremony for long-serving teachers. Part of Catholic Education Week, today's event aims to help students respect and value their peers.
You're having a day to mingle with other students and to realise that they're not just part of their own school, but they're also part of the broader education community.
Around 1/5 of Tasmanian school students are enrolled in a Catholic school. Evandale has been chosen as the country's second site for a National Trust retail store. Opening today, the site has been hand-picked due to its environmental and architectural heritage.
In Tasmania, people actually celebrate their architecture, they celebrate their gardens, and they know how to live with them, and that's what we wanted to be part of.
And in keeping with its heritage theme, all products are designed to last a lifetime. The only other National Trust store is in Sydney. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has recorded its biggest one-day fall in more than 4 months, with banks and miners among the worst performers. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 90.1 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.67 US cents and 70.97 euro cents.
With the State League season less than 10 days away, tonight we continue our look at each club. Hobart City Demons and Devonport are both hoping to climb up the ladder, as is Launceston, but the Blues have been dealt a major blow on the eve of the season.
The Blues have been tipped as a big improver after finishing 8th last year, but they'll be without the returning Alex Payne, who suffered a devastating third ACL injury.
He'd basically done every training session up until this date and relocated from Victoria after his uni to come back and play for Launceston, and hard time for him.
Former Essendon midfielder Sam Lonergan makes a long-awaited return to football, admitting round 1 will be more nerve-wracking than his AFL debut.
Yeah, it makes it just as nervous as round one, my first game in the AFL back in 2006, I think. Yeah.
Devonport has unveiled Dylan Riley and Bo Sharman as co-captains. A host of older, experienced types have left the team, making way for a fresh wave of young pies. Kurt Byard joins state under-17 player Giacomo Malucci as a handy in. Mitch Thorpe says it's time his side went deep into September.
There's no doubt we haven't been good enough at the right time of year, and we've had some players let us down. And we've shifted to a younger, enthusiastic, fit playing group.
Thorpe hoping to form part of a potent forward setup with newcomer Brodie Connolly.
He's 185, but can catch it above his head and can sit on packs, can kick goals from anywhere, so we're really excited to have him in our team.
While at Hobart City Demons, coach and veteran midfielder Kane Richter has confirmed he'll be going around again.
The old truck just on standby. No, it's just running around and making sure that we can instil some leadership.
The Demons open their season against reigning Premier Glenorchy next Friday night.
We look to them as a model that we're pretty keen to emulate throughout the year. So what better way to have a crack at them at round one.
Cricket Tasmania is confident it'll have appointed a new Hobart Hurricanes coach within the fortnight. And after falling out of love with its number one keeper, the organisation appears to be back on the Payne train.
Rumours of a move interstate for the out-of-contract Tim Payne continue to swirl, and despite the keeper not being selected for the first 5 games of the Shield season, Andrew Dyke says he's suddenly now a required player.
Didn't get the score that I know he was after and we were after, but his keeping, his leadership and his batting showed good signs for the future.
Reports of a job offer in Victoria for the 32-year-old only fanning the flames of a move.
I honestly believe if Tim chose to go to Melbourne, it would be for non-cricket reasons.
Cricket Tas want him here, though. That's with Jake Doran still contracted and the organisation looking to sign national keeper Matthew Wade.
We're looking to get him back to the squad or back into the squad, so there will be some changes, but I wouldn't say there'll be wholesale changes.
Payne headlines a list of 10 uncontracted Tigers, Jordan Silk and rising star Gabe Bell on the list. Former Test number 3 Alex Doolan also amongst them. His future with the team appears to be clouded.
I guess in terms of a contract, what that looks like in terms of tenure, things like that, that's for another day.
Dyke says a Hurricanes coach will be appointed soon, but that finding the right person for the Tigers job will take a little longer.
Within a week or two, touch wood, that'll happen, and then the Tigers coach more so probably the middle to late April.
The chairman of selectors hoping to land a strong communicator.
So what that coach looks like, it's not up for me to say, but as long as they're very clear with their communication with the players is the main thing.
Launceston Tornadoes coach Ben Rush says it'll take a team effort to fill the shoes of departed import Michaela Roof. The power forward recently signing on with WNBA club the LA Sparks. But Rush is confident his squad has the depth to cover the loss of the dominant rebounder.
Some players who might be, for example, playing 5 or 10 minutes a game might move up to 10, 15 or 20 minutes a game. And everybody just takes on a little bit more load, and that's just part of basketball.
Launceston kicks off its 2017 Seaball campaign with a huge intrastate season opener against the Hobart Chargers on Saturday night.
Good evening. Hobart 16 today, Launceston and Burnie 21, Devonport's 23. The state's high shared with Strawn. Temperatures just above average over the northwest, but up to 6 degrees below elsewhere. King Island and Low Head 22, Wynyard and Bridport 21, Scottsdale 20, Flinders Island 19 today, Bushy Park 17, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Campania 16. Lyoweenie's temperature moved up just 3 degrees today from the overnight low of 9. There's mid to low level cloud over Tasmania and most of Victoria. All that thundercloud is still there over the coastal areas of New South Wales and Queensland and across the top end. Some high cloud over southwest WA and cumulus cloud built up over western parts of New South Wales and Queensland. Closer in, cloudy conditions over most of Tasmania except for the west coast. Just a bit of a sunny spot there today. Tomorrow a high slowly moves over Tasmania, extending ridges along the Bight and also up the east coast of the nation. Several troughs and associated low pressure systems sit over the mainland as well. The monsoonal trough continues to be active over the top end. East to southeast winds at 15 knots but increasing to 15 to 20 knots over the northeast and southwest during the afternoon. Swells at 2.5 metres. Hobart, drizzle at times clearing for Thursday. 17 the top, 18 for Cygnet, some drizzle for New Norfolk, possibly 19 degrees. Launceston, partly cloudy and 22, possible drizzle for Devonport, 21 the top, 19 for Campbelltown. Burnie, possible drizzle, 20. Partly cloudy for Strawn, 20, and also 20 degrees for Smithton. And for St Helens tomorrow, possible drizzle, 18 degrees, just 16 for Swansea. Fingal, 17 degrees. UV, all on a 6, which is still rated as high. On Friday, fine apart from possible early drizzle over the northwest. Mainly fine on Saturday, apart from showers over the north, contracting to the northeast by evening. And on Sunday, showers over the central, north and northeast. Fine and partly cloudy for the rest of the state. A shower clearing from Perth tomorrow, sunny for Adelaide and Melbourne, raining Canberra, showers for Sydney and Brisbane. Cloudy in Hobart, 14 at the moment, 18 degrees in Launceston, partly cloudy in Devonport too, and 18 degrees. Bit of drizzle around tomorrow, Joe. We want it away for all the cricket finals this weekend.
We do. We need a good weekend. Thank you very much, Murph. Well, that's all from the news team for now. Have a great evening. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.